Good morning. Welcome to His Life Ministries Ayala, Capital Central, where imperfect people are perfectly welcome. Today we continue with our services online and on our series called Heritage, with our topic today, Children are a Heritage from the Lord. Our text comes from Psalm 127, verses 3 to 5, which reads, Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. Before we talk about heritage, let's first define what heritage is. Heritage is different from inheritance, where inheritance is the estate our parents or grandparents has left us. A vast tract of land, maybe an hacienda perhaps, a business, a building. People usually put greater value to inheritance because, it's the one with that is tangible and with monetary value. It is not uncommon that heirs would fight and squabble on what is left by the parents or their ancestors. It's not uncommon also that some would trick their own siblings or relatives to get a better share. There are just some people who think they deserve better and put themselves above others. But that is usually the case with wealth and property. They are finite. It has limits. On the other hand, heritage is in most cases intangible. That no matter how many you are in the family, for even several generations, you still reap benefits from. For example, I have a very popular uncle, a Catholic priest. When people meet me and they hear my family name, they would immediately ask if I'm related to Monsignor Rivas. Sometimes that gets me special consideration without even asking. Never mind that I'm not even Catholic. But I am benefiting from his good name nonetheless. I have a great great grandfather who is also a war hero, a general. His reputation carries to my generation to this day. The Bible talks a lot about heritage and inheritance, although both mean different since they are both passed on or inherited. It is normal that they are talked about in the same breath. Let's take, for example, Jacob and Esau. Jacob tricked his brother Esau into giving up his birthright for a bowl of soup. What is important about a birthright? A birthright is authority inherited from the father to the firstborn son, usually. Apart from getting a double portion of their father's estate, which is the inheritance or the tangible part, the birthright comes with the authority to lead the family when the father is gone, much like kingship is passed on. True, Isaac was no king, and Jacob is not right for scheming, but Esau's sin was deemed greater for putting so little value to his birthright. Hence, he was called a profane person in Hebrews 12, verse 6. In the vernacular, profane means bastos. God even said, Jacob I love, but Esau I hated. Now, this is not a literal hate, but rather a common figure of speech in the day, which means I have favored Jacob over Esau. And elsewhere in the Bible, we hear Jesus saying, Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. So when the Bible says your children are a heritage, the proper response is to treasure and value this gift. Why are children a heritage and not inheritance? Because bearing children, procreation, is passed to us by God when He first breathed on Adam. It is intrinsic to who we are as human beings. You may not appreciate its power, but even the devil does. That's why he's doing all he can to stop us from experiencing this gift. So we see this heritage being attacked in the guise of political correctness, in the name of choice, even family planning. Let's take, for example, Japan. Japan's population is aging. At one point, the sale of adult diapers outnumbered the sale of baby diapers. Apart from aggressive population control, the cost is also economic. A lot of Japanese are career-oriented, or rather focused on surviving in a country with one of the highest costs of living in the world. So they have no time for love, so to speak. Would you believe that in a country known for their porn industry, they also have 25% of their men between 18 to 30 years old being virgins? The same can be said also about their women. Well, I guess porn is also one of the causes of that. But this is a problem because who is going to man your factories, farm the fields, care for the sick, teach the children, do research and development, or even defend your country? Hence, Japan has now backtracked and put measures to combat population decline. You would ask, wouldn't a large population have food and other resource problem? Well, look at the Philippines. They say we are an overpopulated country. But it's not unusual that we hear our farmers throwing away their food harvest because no one is buying, or the buying rate is slower than the cost of production. Ask any of your friends who work in Jollibee and McDonald's and ask how much food they're throwing away every day. Ask any of your friends in construction on how scarce workers are. Look at the BPO industry. We could go on and on. Hunger and poverty is caused by many things, but it's not overpopulation. You know, the worst thing about population control and what it does, it lessens the number of people who will know the Lord. It will lessen the number of people who will spend eternity with Him in heaven and spend the rest of their lives in eternal bliss. That is the greatest tragedy. Hence, we see babies being attacked. You know, God has every right to kill Adam and Eve when they first sinned, yet He let them live out of mercy and grace, that their children will have a shot at heaven. It's another gift we may not understand and appreciate, but God does. Even the devil does. So, how do we treasure this heritage we inherited from the Lord? In the text, we read children being likened to arrows. In the old days, it is likely the archers themselves who make their own arrows, shape them, fletch them, and make them ready for use. Much like David who looked for the stones himself when he fought Goliath. There is beauty and reason to preparing your own arrows because you know how it will behave in flight, how much rain it has, or what its weaknesses are. As a business owner and head of development in my company, I train my own team myself and equip them with the right skills on the right technologies because I know what kind of work that will come ahead and I know what they need to be ready for. As a parent, I haven't really given this much thought. I must confess that I relegated most of the work to schools, to the church, and maybe even the YX. It is only lately, especially while preparing for this series, that I was struck with the realization that this I must do myself because these children were given to me to care and prepare. Luke 16 verse 10 says, "The one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much." Psalm 119 verse 111 says, "Your statutes are my heritage forever. They are the joy of my heart." So take joy in this heritage given to you by the Lord. Do not belittle it. Avail of it. Exercise it. And your children, when you face your adversaries, as in verse 5 of Psalm 127, they will not put you to shame. They are our greatest testament, a representation of your honor and pride, and the Lord's grace and favor upon you. So that's our word for today. Have a blessed Sunday. God bless you all.